Hello my loves and welcome to this video. So I really wanted to record this video sharing my experience with Vipassana, which is a 10-day meditation retreat. I'm really excited to share my personal experience with you and what happens during this retreat, during this 10 days of noble silence, over 100 hours of meditation and 2 meals a day, 4 a.m. mornings, all of the details. So if you are interested, then stick around, watch this video, and I'm sure you will find it useful. Hello, so welcome to this video all about Vipassana. Now I have a tea because I'm a chatty gal and I thought I'm going to make this video a chatty video all about Vipassana, trying to provide... My words have gone since Vipassana. I feel like I cannot carry a conversation normally yet. I can't write content like I used to, and I can't carry a conversation. But I thought, it's been 3 days now, I thought it would come back. I'm going to try my hardest. Anyway, I'm going to share my experience with Vipassana to give you as much detail as possible as I can about the whole experience. And I love chatting to you guys, so I thought, why not get a tea and why not sit in front of my window as the sun sets and share the experience with you. So let's talk. I have a Pukka Relax tea right now. It's pretty alright. Tastes a bit weird, but it's comforting. So I thought I'd share all about what Vipassana actually is to start with, in case any of you guys don't know. So Vipassana is a 10-day meditation retreat. It actually doesn't have to be 10 days. There are 3-day retreats, there are 30-day retreats, there are 45-day retreats. I even think there might be 60-day retreats. I'm not 100% sure, but the most popular is the 10-day Vipassana meditation retreat. And Vipassana is actually a type of meditation, and I'm pretty sure it was created by Buddha himself, and it is taught by S.N. Goenka, who is a very spiritual, a very enlightened man who teaches the course throughout the 10 days of Vipassana. Now, the meaning of the word Vipassana is actually seeing things as they really are. So I really like that, and the word really does reflect on the actual meditation practice and on the actual technique. So that is what it's all about. It's all about observing reality as it is, with no attachment to it, no form of attachment, no form of craving or aversion, and being in total equanimity. Like, that word will haunt me forever. And you will understand if you've done a Vipassana, the word equanimity is like in my head all the time, and I'd never even heard that word before I did this retreat. So it is a meditation retreat, and they are actually taking place all around the world. They are completely free and dependent on donations alone, which I also think is absolutely incredible, meaning that anyone from any background can go and learn this practice and go on this retreat without paying any money and have meals provided for them. It's incredible that this is provided for anyone. And I did Vipassana in Sweden on the 1st of March to the 12th of March. It's a full 10 days. I went on day 0 and left on day 11. Like, it's a lot. And yeah, they take place all around the world. They have 20 of them here in Sweden. So that's almost 2 a month, which is actually crazy. They're really, really popular. If you ever search Vipassana in your area and you want to do one, you will see that there are waiting lists and they always get pretty full up. So to get a spot, I actually had to set a reminder for when the wait list opens, get my place, and then I actually got my place just before Christmas. I found out I was going on it and I was like buzzing because I was on the wait list for one previously, but then I finally got a place. And when you get a place, I feel like it's a good feeling. You're like, oh my god, my life is gonna change. But it's also good to go in there with no expectations. So basically, that's what it is, 10-day meditation retreat, and now I'm going to give you a few details. So this is the schedule of the 10 days. Now, it seems quite extreme, as you can see. We wake up at 4 a.m, you meditate for about 10 hours per day, and you go to bed at 9 p.m, and there is noble silence. Noble silence for 10 days, meaning you are not allowed to speak to anyone, you are not really allowed to look at anyone, not allowed to communicate with anyone that you are living with. Now, this is usually the thing that throws people off. People think, what? I can't speak for for 10 days. I can't write, I can't read. But when you're there, it totally makes sense. Like, I did not even want to speak to anyone when I was there. Like, you're on your own journey when you're there, so not talking to anyone and not sharing the experience whilst you're living it makes a lot of sense when you're there. Even though it might seem overwhelming, it actually just, it works. That's still so hot. So the schedule was pretty intense, obviously going from like a normal day-to-day life to like 4 a.m. till 9 p.m. You have to get right into it, but I honestly think that at the start you're kind of excited and you're kind of intrigued, so you just kind of, you wake up and you're like, oh my god, and you get woken up by like a gong, so it feels really like surreal. It feels like you're living in this different dimension, another reality, because it's so far away from how we live today, which I found really interesting actually, and I was super excited to have that experience. I'm gonna leave more details about it exactly what it is down below in the caption as well, so if you want to read more about it, if there is anything that I've missed, and if you have any questions, just leave a comment below and I'll be happy to answer. I'll be happy to talk about it and help you out if you are intrigued on doing it. So who is Vipassana for? Now, honestly, I think Vipassana is for anyone and everyone. The only piece of advice that I would give is, I guess, being like mentally okay with yourself in a way, because it can get really tough in there, and obviously as you've heard, like, you are completely alone and you are only there with yourself. Now, I don't think you have to have years of experience in meditation, even months of experience in meditation. That's not essential. I mean, I think it helps, and I think that's one thing that I wish I kind of practiced before I went. If I maybe was more into meditation, then I think during the practices I could have gone deeper into like my subconscious, deeper into the meditation. But because I wasn't I hadn't meditated for an hour ever before in my life, so going from meditating, about the longest meditation I'd ever done was 30 minutes, going from that to doing a meditation for 2 hours was like quite a big change, quite a big stretch. So one thing I would have done is probably practice a bit more, but other than that, I think everyone should do or like can do a Vipassana. Obviously, like, it's not like you should, you have to, but it's an incredible experience, and it's not for anyone in particular. Like I said, it's a free thing. Like, they want anyone and everyone to just be open to try this experience and open to become a happy person. Like, that is what Vipassana is all about, seeing things as they really are and becoming a happy being. Like, that is what the teaching actually is at its core. It's all about happiness and, you know, observing like the pain and the misery that you have in your life and coming at it from an approach of not getting attached to it and not craving like the good stuff, not avoiding the bad stuff, and just observing it and being there with it. It's a really amazing practice if you are intrigued on becoming happier and definitely becoming like an enlightened person. Not that you get enlightened after 10 days, by the way, like, that is not what I'm saying. That's not what happens, trust me. That's what they say in the teachings as well. It's not like you will become a Buddha once you leave after 10 days. Sadly, that's not the case, but it does kind of get you on that path towards that and make you understand that it's attainable. It's attainable to become enlightened and become liberated through getting to know yourself and getting to know the reality that is here and now. Okay, so what did we do? I've covered like a bit of the schedule, but I mean, I feel like there's not that much to it. We meditated a lot, meditated for 10 plus hours a day, and we had 2 meals a day and a snack in the evening. And obviously you can do this retreat however many times you want, so there were some old students there and there were some new students there. So new students, which was me, I had never done this before, we had breakfast and lunch, which was amazing, by the way. The food quality and the food options that they had, I think, were just incredible, especially because this is completely free and it's completely dependent on donations, and there's obviously a lot of students that these people have to provide for. So the food was incredible, really, really nice. And, you know, you could kind of take however much you want as well. So it was great. And then in the evening, so we had breakfast at 6:30 a.m. lunch at 11 a.m. and an evening snack of fruit, 2 pieces of fruit, at 5 p.m, which I was like so nervous for. I was like, shit, I'm such a hungry person. Like, I snack. I'm a snacker. Like, I eat banana bread like constantly. I work in a cafe, you know. So I was thinking, shit, like this is gonna be hard. But it actually wasn't. I mean, you're sitting down all day. I didn't get like too hungry anyway, which I was really surprised about. So yeah, 2 meals and then 2 pieces of fruit a day and tea. They had lots of variety of teas, different teas, milks, and hot chocolate even. They had hot chocolate. I was like so surprised. So that was nice, because after a bad day, I had a hot chocolate every now and then, and I was like, oh, this is nice. And also when I was there, it was really snowy, like really snowy and really cold. So that hot chocolate was really like an elite pairing with my 2 pieces of fruit. So that is what we got. The schedule was pretty much the same each day. There was a notice board that we could look at and see if anything had changed, but it was pretty much the same schedule. Wow, I apologise for the drastic lighting change right now, but my battery died and now it's pitch black outside. So I'm just gonna sit here and keep filming and hope that the lighting isn't too horrible to look at. 2 hours of meditation before breakfast, 3 hours of meditation before lunch, and 4 hours of meditation before 5 p.m. snack, and then there was just 3 hours of the day left. 1 of those hours was meditation, 1 to 1.5 hours was the discourse, which was really nice. So we actually watched an hour of a discourse, which was the teachings and explanations by S.N. Goenka, so that was really nice. And that was, I feel like that was a little bit of like a dopamine hit, you know, because you actually got to watch something and it was quite funny as well. Like, it was entertaining, so that was a bit of entertainment we got in those 10 days. And then there was like 30 minutes left and we would just meditate for the next 30 minutes and then go to sleep. So that was basically the whole schedule for the 10 days. And then 3 hours of those days, 3 separate hours of those days ended up being like hours of, I forgot what it was called, but it was like disciplined, like stillness, where you had to stay completely still in those hours, because it was quite lenient. And I thought at the start, like, oh, this is super chill, like you can actually leave the room and you can like move around, you can get up if you really want to, if you aren't disturbing people, of course. But then after day 3, there was like 3 hours in the day where you had to try your hardest to be completely still, and you had to meditate in the hall with everyone. And that was really like exciting actually when that happened. I was like, oh, it's getting serious. So there was like different aspects that they added as the time went on, so that was also really cool. Okay, so now that we've covered like some of the practical bits, I feel like we should get into the good stuff, which is why I did it and what I actually learned from it and what I actually got from it and why people do it in general. So first of all, why I actually decided to do a Vipassana was because of my brother. My older brother has actually done 2 Vipassanas and he's about to do his 3rd 10-day Vipassana, which is pretty wild to me. Now that I've done it, I feel like I have a new level of respect for my brother, because it was really tough, like mentally and physically on your body. So now I feel like, oh wow, he is so disciplined. And my brother is like a huge inspiration to me. So the fact that he did it and then he was obviously raving about it, saying how amazing it was, I was thinking, oh my god, I have to try this. Like, I have to see what he's talking about, because this sounds like surreal, what he's been through and everything. I have to experience this. And he was like, you should, it's incredible, it's changed my life. And it has changed his life. He's tapped into like that deeper level of himself for sure, a level that I don't think I have gotten deep enough into like myself yet, if that makes sense. So that's really cool. He suggested it and I was like, yes, let's do it. A lot of the people who were there also said that they got like recommended it, they heard of it from a podcast, things like that. You just hear about it from people, and then there's something that intrigues you about this silence, this concept of like having nothing and being surrounded by no one. Not being surrounded, having nothing and being surrounded by like no distraction, like just you and yourself. I think it's a really interesting concept, because we're never like that anymore. We don't live like that. We don't live in a world where we have no distractions and we have no people around us. So it was really cool to experience that for like the first time in my life. From when we're born, we're surrounded by things and people and distractions and dopamine. So I think that's a lot of the reason like why people get intrigued and want to do it. A lot of my friends, for example, get turned off at the idea of like not talking, reading or writing, which I completely understand. But I thought those would be harder than they actually were. It actually wasn't that hard. I feel like, God, you can entertain yourself a lot with just your mind. Like when you really have nothing to do, your mind can go to some crazy places, and then honestly, it's like you're in a different reality because you're thinking of all these make-believe situations, fantasies, imaginations. It's like, okay then, I'll just live like this. Like honestly, I wasn't bored, which was crazy. I want to tap into like a deeper version of myself, you know, and get to know myself a lot more, and that helped me to do that. In some ways, I also feel like there's a lot more I can like get to know about myself, which is really exciting. But there's things that I learned about myself which I would have never known. And I think being in a space where you can't be distracted, where you have to sit with yourself, it allows you to get to know yourself like you would not get to know yourself like in this world here with all of these distractions and all of these people around us. And I'm not gonna lie, I feel like the best and the worst parts for me, I will talk about now. Like I'm gonna say like the best parts are definitely like the top best part was 100% when the noble silence ended and we got to speak to people. That was insane, like insane. There was so much to talk about and there was so much to hear, so much to listen to, so much happiness. Like we all did this together, even though we couldn't even talk along the way, we couldn't even support each other really, but we were all there and we all witnessed and went through this together. That feeling was incredible. And when I got to day 8, 9 and 10, I really understood why my brother has done this so many times. But up to day 8, I was like, what the hell, why would people do this? I was honestly confused. But when it got to the end, I was like, this is amazing. When your meditation actually works and your pain actually goes, the pain in your legs, the pain in your back, it actually goes. That's when I understood, like, this is good. This is nice. This is doing something. Because the worst part was 100% the pain at the beginning. Like, well, the first 5 to 6 days, the pain of sitting still for so long. Not mental pain, just physical pain. And I had a lot of like beliefs and conditionings in my head that were telling me like, this isn't healthy, this isn't good for you, you shouldn't be sitting down for this long, like your body's gonna decay, this is not good for you, blah blah blah. You know, I listened to a lot of podcasts about health and biohacking, wellness and all of these things, so I was thinking, oh my god, like this is so bad, this is going to ruin my life. Which is obviously not true. It's 10 days, it's okay. And now I'm back in the gym and I can feel that it feels harder, I'm easing myself back in, but it's not the end of the world. Like, I was putting that time into my mind, which we invest so much time into our bodies and our physical health, and we don't invest so much time into our mental health and our minds. So I really had to like get rid of those beliefs with the fact that this was so unhealthy for me and I was gonna die, my body was gonna die, my gains were gonna go, like all of these superficial thoughts. I was having them for literally the first 5 days and it was really annoying. It was really crazy. Like my superficial thoughts were just there, like, oh, you're not gonna look so good, you're gonna gain weight or you're gonna lose muscle, blah blah. And I was like, you know what, shut up. But eventually, like, I had to surrender, and I think that's a huge part of the concept of Vipassana in these 10 days as well. It's surrendering to the practice, surrendering to the technique, trusting that this works and this has worked for many people in the past, trusting that you're here to invest in yourself, and yeah, just surrendering to that, surrendering to the moment that you're in. That was really challenging at first, but then once that happened, it was like, yes, I can finally like really focus now on the reason why I'm here, which is to meditate and to really focus. I'm trying to think of another best part, and I think one best part was when you have a very good meditation practice, like a very deep insight into yourself, your subconscious, because that's what the practice is all about. And when you actually manage to get that deep into yourself, that's an amazing feeling. But what's part of Vipassana as well is like, you shouldn't get attached to that feeling and you shouldn't be craving that feeling. It talks about cravings a lot. It's like you can have an amazing meditation, but you can't be craving that again. But that was a really good part of it, to know that I can get that deep into myself, and I actually have. And it took some time. I think that only happened on like the 7th day. And I think I remember like my best meditation day was like the 9th day or something. And I honestly think that's because I knew it was the 9th day, so I was like, okay, let's just go all in on this and really, really like try, because this is going to be over soon. Because other than that, the days felt long, I'm not going to lie. Maybe if I did it again, I don't think it would feel as long. I feel like I'd approach it very differently with my mindset, but it felt long, let me tell you. So I am finally going to end this video here. I know that I've talked a lot and this video is really long, but I guess I just wanted to vocalize the whole experience of Vipassana with you guys and with myself. So thank you so much for watching this video, and I just want to add a few last thoughts. First of all, everyone will experience this thing differently. If you are someone who has done Vipassana and you have different thoughts, or someone who wants to and then completes it and then leaves with different thoughts, then that is okay. Something I learned is that everyone has different takeaways from things, because you're not getting anything from the outside world, it's all from inside, and our insides are all so different. So no one is going to leave having the same thoughts, the same insights. So make sure you don't compare anyone else's journey with yours if you are thinking of doing it. 4 quick things Vipassana taught me is, number 1, to not assume things about people. Living with the same people for 10 days, I thought I knew them so well, and on the last day, actually being able to speak to everyone, I realised that they were not who I thought they were at all. In a good way, of course, but it just reminded me that I look at people from the outside and already have so many assumptions about them, how they live their life, what they do, who they are, and maybe why they're doing certain things. And you can have these even negative feelings towards people, or positive, but you can have negative feelings towards people without even knowing their story, without even knowing them, just assuming that they are this person in your head. And Vipassana taught me to assume less. Just try not to assume things until you have that conversation with someone and truly get to know them, without looking from the outside thinking they have loads of money, for example, they're egoistic, and all of these negative emotions that we automatically like go to in the first instance. So I think that's going to improve my relationships with people, and hopefully allow me to open up to more people that I never would have thought to open up to in the past. And number 2, the second thing that it has taught me is that everything is constantly changing. Even when you can't see or feel it, the world is constantly changing. That is the law of nature. Good times and bad times are both changing. Everything will change. So whether you're in a really bad time in life right now, this will change, it will pass. Just trust that it will. Everything always changes. If you're in a happy time, appreciate it, because everything always changes. So it's just an amazing way to have an outlook on life. Number 3 is your sadness and your happiness all starts from within. Sounds a bit cliche, but literally the outside world is just like material things adding to what's already inside, what's already being felt. So it all starts from within. It's how you react and how your outlook is on all of these outside things going on in the world. So this can be like really empowering, actually, to think that you can change your state, you can change the way you feel just by
checking in with yourself and changing that feeling and that emotion from within rather than trying to change things on the outside. And number 4 is that we care so much about our self-image in other people's eyes. We search for validation and we search for status, and that's just the way that us humans are. But in order to become like enlightened and liberated, then we have to let go of that status, let go of that ego, and stop looking outside for validation and simply look within. Those are my 4 thoughts, and I'm going to leave this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I know it was like in 3 different places, 3 different times, but it's finally done. I really appreciate you watching, and I want to know your thoughts. Would you ever do a Vipassana? Would you ever dare to do one? Or have you done one in the past? What was your experience? I want to chat. I want to know. Thank you, and I'm going to see you in the next video, hopefully. If you like this video, definitely check out some of my previous videos all around mindset and ways to think about life and all of these different things. I'm very interested in, I guess, like the personal development scene. So you'll find that a lot of my content is related about that, as well as living in Sweden. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully see you in the next one. Have a beautiful day, week, month, life.